Hans, 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 Hans. Hans, 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 Hans. What do you have in your mouth? Where the hell did you get that from? Where'd you get that from? Hi, Winnie. Switzerland, how you doing? Hi, Winnie. I don't know where this came from. Come on, Winnie. This is going on the table because I don't think you're supposed to have this. It's not a toy. How's everybody doing today? I wanted to go live instead of post a video. It's been a rough 24 hours. I don't want to tell everybody and answer everybody's questions, and then, it's been a rough 24 hours, to say the least. And so, just trying to, if you haven't heard, Candy passed away yesterday, and, just trying to come to grips with everything and the loss of her and the devastating loss of her. And, it's something we do, but you don't get used to it. And it's heartbreaking every time. And, watching her, decline, she was not, she didn't suffer. And that's the most important thing. And, could you stop? That's not yours. That's not your, they're doing work. Give me that. Oh, you're such a dick. Come here. So Candy passed away yesterday morning, and as soon as I woke up, I knew she was ready to say goodbye. And, people always ask, how do you know? And if you've ever been in this situation, you just know. Where is he? Where is he, Todd? Okay. So if you've ever been in this situation, a good caregiver just knows. And she woke up and she was uncomfortable. And I knew, and we've woken up before and she's been uncomfortable before. The past week, her eating has slowed down, and she was walking less, sleeping more, and she told me she was ready. I went, I fed everybody breakfast, and this is what this dog is doing. This is not yours. There's someone doing work. We're putting gutters in the special care barn, and she grabbed the guy's thing. I just want, stop it. I just wanted to, I'm trying to put the words together. It happened. We knew it was coming. We knew it was coming. We knew it was happening semi-soon. She she was sleeping more. Again, she wasn't in pain. She was just tired. And her body made her so tired from neglect for, 10 years of absolute neglect. And, neglecting your animal and not getting your animal proper medical care is abuse. Flat out abuse. Just, if you can't care for an animal properly, don't get an animal. Her life was so uncomfortable because she had chronic ear infections because they were never taken care of. And so we dealt with that like on a daily basis of her being so uncomfortable with her ears. And, she had a level 6 heart murmur and just nothing. She didn't get medical care, and it was just. And when we first took her, I don't know, I've told this story before. I got a lot of hate from people who thought she would have been better on a couch somewhere with an older couple just watching TV. She would have died in 6 months. She had a great life. She ran around for years. She'd follow the tours and be held the whole tour. I'm sure people on here held her for a tour, and she lived a great life. And I don't regret anything about her life. Like, there's nothing about how she lived with us that wasn't amazing. I think in my heart, I felt I hated that she was sick. So I hated that she was sick all the time. It just bothered me so much, and it bothered me. It just made me so sad, and maybe I was afraid to love her more because I just knew it was hard to attach to someone who wasn't going to be here that long. Franny, one of my best friends from halfway home, who I rescued her she was halfway home, and she couldn't believe that she lasted as long as she did, how sick she was. And so I loved her, I squeezed her, I hugged her. She traveled to so many states. She ate well, and she loved people, and people loved her, and she ran around this whole farm. Like, Beck and I, it just so happens that Halfway Home had their big fundraiser last night in New Jersey, so we didn't tell anybody that she was gone because we didn't want to kill the mood. There was 350 people there, and it was a struggle for Beck and I to sit there because our heart was broken. And but being around other people, other rescue animals, other rescue dogs, and amazing people really helped us cope in the moment. And so, I talked to Franny this morning because I didn't want to tell her yesterday that Candy was gone. And, she was so proud and happy about how long she lived with us. And so, she was a little miracle baby. We remember she was super sick before the spring, and I just wanted her to get the spring. I just wanted her to feel the sun on her face and the grass under her feet and running around and enjoying life. And she did. She got more than that, and she was fine till yesterday morning. She was tired. She was still eating, not as much. She was losing weight, but she wasn't wasting. And could you get out of the truck? Get over here. She ran around. Beck was playing videos on her way to New Jersey yesterday of her, and I forgot how crazy active she was. I'm going to post some videos. and show you how she was just, she lived such a good life running through the pastures, enjoying the sun and enjoying everything. She enjoyed everything. She posted or she didn't post. She showed me a video of, like, Todd, where'd he go? Yeah. Yeah, we can find. So we posted. She showed me a video of her running and Lyle diving, and they're frolicking, and it was just like, I got him, Todd. And it was just, I forgot because it's been so long since she ran around, and it was so cool. And she was, so it was great, and so. You know, it's times like these that you just don't know. You just don't know. You know, I'm trying to find the words, but they're, you know, Dr. Gunsberg, who I know for years, Megan was too far away, our vet, to say goodbye. And I'm still wearing the same clothes from yesterday because it still has some of her hair on it. And I was holding her close to my heart, and she just fell asleep painlessly, quickly. And she's buried under Andy's tree, and she's out of pain. You know, the neglect for years. You know, I think I'm just rambling. I just wanted to make sure I went live and people hear it from me, and not a picture and not a statement. Just that, you know, Candy's gone. It's weird saying that. You know, it's funny because now I'll sleep through the night because she used to wake me up 7 times a night to go to the bathroom. So I don't even know what a good night's sleep is. So I'm a little freaked out about that. Lyle is like super depressed, which makes me even sadder because I can deal with my emotions, but dealing with emotions of, you know, her friend who doesn't understand that she's gone. He knew right away, you know, he knew right away how sick she was, and he knew she wasn't coming home. And he's devastated. He hasn't eaten since yesterday. He's devastated. He ate a little this morning. I kind of forced him to eat this morning, and he's devastated. And so we're all devastated. And, you know, you never get used to this, ever, ever, ever. You know, hold your animals tightly. And I knew for about 5 days now that we were getting super close. And the vet was here, Megan, and she said, well, you know, she said she's close. And then when I went to Dr. Gunsberg and I'm holding her in my heart, I was holding her against my chest again. I don't know if I'll ever wash this sweatshirt again, but I was holding her, and he's an incredibly compassionate man. And he just looked at me and he said, yeah. There was no question in his mind that she was ready. And it was like 2 seconds. She closed her eyes and went to sleep, you know, and you know, I think if you're not able to make those decisions, and I've talked to people who've waited too long, you know, if you're not able to make those decisions, you shouldn't have a pet, or an animal, or a rescue. You know, she deserved not to suffer, and she didn't. You know, we drove there, it was an hour away, and she slept, and she was comfortable, and she was just sleeping, and, you know, she was in, you know, it's stage 4 or level 4 heart murmur. He said that, like, her organs were starting to shut down. but she wasn't in pain. And and it's a big chunk of my everyday life because she just was she was always there with me. I mean, she stopped being there obviously with me when she wasn't as mobile as she was and wasn't running around. And the funny thing is you know how they evolved. You know, she hated Wilbur, just hated him with a passion, like could not stand Wilbur. And the past couple, even months maybe, her and Wilbur got really close. And he was her little caregiver. So she would lay on Wilbur's bed, and Wilbur would go to bed in his bed when she was there and circle her, not to bother her. And I have like so many pictures of her snuggling with Wilbur, and even Princess. It was crazy. Like he just knew, and she hated him. She freaking hated Wilbur. It was like the funniest thing. I mean, he didn't even care because she didn't. I mean, she would growl him. She'd jump off the couch on top of him, and she weighed 8 pounds, so it didn't even bother him. She couldn't bite him. She couldn't do anything. And it didn't bother him that she hated him. And then she spent so much time with Wilbur the past like few months of snuggling. They would snuggle. Like it was crazy. It was just, I have pictures after pictures, and I'd be out and Todd would send me pictures of Wilbur and her cuddling. But I remember specifically one moment where she was laying in the middle of Wilbur's bed and he circled her to order not to bother her. He didn't even nudge her, and then he laid down next to her. And she felt very protected by Wilbur. And it was such a beautiful story because such a change in him from someone who hated him, and that didn't bother him. That she would look at him and growl. Again, a growling from an 8-pound Yorkie is really not anything intimidating, but it was such a change. And the compassion, because he knew she was sick, and he just took care of her and made sure she was comfortable and would lay with her all the time, like all the time. So pigs are amazing animals, you know, and it was awesome. I'm going to show you a sweatshirt. So, you know, go give Halfway Home a follow. We went to a celebration last night, a fundraiser, and I bought a sweatshirt. And I was gonna wear it today, but this is where Candy took her last breath, and I want to hold on to it for a little while. Maybe not wash it for a while. And so I'm gonna find this sweatshirt I got last night, and you know, it's funny because it just meant so much in the moment after losing Candy. When are you coming in? So that's not it. Here's a sweatshirt. Let's see what it says. Come on, we're gonna take that. So I'm gonna show you this sweatshirt. Go. Hold on, and we may have to copy it. Don't tell Franny. And I'll show you. Let's see. Okay. I don't know how you do this. If I spin it around, can you see it? Let's make this. Let's see. Look at this. This is cool. Okay, you ready? You can't change an animal's past, but you can rewrite their future. And I think we're going to write something like this. You can't change an animal's past. Can you see this correctly? But you can rewrite their future. Can you see that? And it's so true. So you can't change an animal's past, but you can rewrite their future. So when I'm ready to take off this sweatshirt, and there's the hairs are going away. There was a couple of hairs on here. When the hairs go away and the smell of candy goes away, I'll wear that a lot. But and she was a perfect example, as we couldn't change her past, but that she lived an amazing life. And it's an honor to take care of a dog like that. We have Winnie, and Winnie's a puppy now. Not a puppy, but she's young and hopefully very healthy. And it's a difference of taking an animal that is sick. And she had cancer when she first came. And Todd, if that's clean, don't change it. I don't even think he's drinking out of it. So I had her for like a few days, and then she was in the hospital for a few weeks. So I didn't even have her like in my home before she had to go to the hospital, because she had cancer everywhere and she had to have a big cancer surgery. And come on, Winnie. And so I just, I think I'm rambling. Hey, Dan, thank you. Because I'm so sad and uncomfortable, and I don't want to go inside because she's not there, and she was always there. She's been such a staple for 4 years, and such a big presence, an 8-pound huge presence, in my life. And so Todd, did you do these yet? No. As soon as they're done, will you take him out? Yeah. So I buried her in a spot under Andy's tree where she could see the house. And I was so worried because I buried her, and I just worried that she was going to be cold last night. And that's all I could think of, that she was lonely and scared. But she's buried right here under Andy's tree. The chimes are playing. She can see the house. She can see everything we are. She's right here. I don't remember what kind of cancer, but so she's right there. She can see everything going on. She can see pumpkin parties and do all that stuff. So, like I said, I just wanted everybody to know live that she's not here anymore. And I did post, I'll post some pictures, but it's just odd that she's not here anymore. So I just wanted to, hi Prem, hi baby girl, hi baby girl, hi baby girl. Thank you, honey, thank you, honey. Thank you, honey. Thank you. Thank you, honey. Prem knows I'm sad, so she definitely changed some lives, and she had such a good time. She really had a good time. And so, and she just ran around like a maniac, It was so much fun watching her enjoy a life from, so she was living in an apartment with someone who wasn't giving her very good care. That person got rushed to the hospital and died in the hospital. And she was left in an apartment for a few weeks. The family went to check on her, and she smelled. And so they dumped her at a shelter.